We just wrapped a 3-camera shoot, FX6, FX3, FX30, 4 FX6s actually.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And the question came up, should I pick up the Sony FX2?
So
this is Ramon is primarily a Lumix user, but you know he has lots of Sony exposure due to me. You know,
sadly, sadly, but no, not sadly, but I think for Christine,
Well, first, let's give the people a little bit of an overview about the FX2.
Okay.
So it has a viewfinder.
Yeah.
Electronic
weirdly.
viewfinder. Yes, I thought it would have been cool if there was the option to take it off and put it back on.
Yeah.
But it's stuck there, so you know that's a whole new cage. That's a whole new type of box to pack it in.
It's just awkwardly placed for some, cause
yeah. But I have to touch it myself. It might be perfect. I don't know. But I think it's an interesting thing that I don't hate. It's just, you know.
Let's do the specs.
Okay.
Let's do the specs because it has a 33 megapixel sensor.
Yeah, so
means,
good for photography.
Yeah, good for stills. Apparently it also shoots, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, I think you can shoot a log format with the stills. So whenever you're going to a shoot as a cinematographer to kind of scout the area, you can take pictures and then like make
apply
sure
the
that
LUT to
exactly.
it. That's actually quite nice.
So I think it does that. It has that feature, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, and then they moved the audio microphone cable and the headphone cable to the outside. That's interesting. I'm not mad at it, but also I don't know that I like those holes being exposed 24/7.
Got you. Interesting.
I would want to plug those things up.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
because God forbid you're in a dusty area or your camera's sitting for a while. Not that it should be sitting, you should be using it. But you know, I am concerned. You know?
No, you have all rights to be concerned because you're a shooter. You know, you go outside quite often. So
yes, and I use those boards quite often. And then I'm curious how the cage is going to be around that. Like, is the cage going to have bigger holes to cover those holes?
Okay.
And then, you know, are you going to have trouble getting the things in, or are the cages going to leave that spot, you know, fully open?
It's a good question. I think another thing that kind of, I guess, Sony, I was watching this review, I think it was Gerald Undon, and he was saying that Sony has announced unlimited recording, and they've never done it before. So because they changed the fan and the cooling system for the FX2.
So are you saying that on my FX3 I can't record unlimited right now? I feel like I can. If I have a battery in there and USB-C, I don't see myself stopping. I'm gonna have to put that to the test because I've recorded for a long time. Yeah.
I guess inside like certain temperatures, like let's say you're in Houston, right? In July, outside, recording all day.
We're gonna have to see about that. I'm gonna have to stress test my own camera because I feel like it can record all day just fine. But we shall see. Alright, so it has that. I don't really like the crop in 4K for 60 because I do a lot of slow motion, you know, videography for event recaps.
I think the FX3 does 120, right?
Yes, and so if I have a 16 to 35 on there, now you're telling me my 16 is not going to be a 16 anymore, especially in tight spaces. That's annoying for me.
That's interesting. I think I was confused as to like why they chose the A74 sensor.
Yeah, somebody said that they were trying to get rid of old sensors.
I'm dying. That's a good point. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I'm very curious. Yeah, I don't know why they wouldn't just use the same one in the FX30 or the FX6 or or the FX3.
Very interesting as to I don't know what it was. I don't know. When I first saw it and I saw the specs, I was like, okay, this is not replacing the FX3. This is nowhere between the 6 and the 3, but it's definitely between the 3 and the 30.
Yes. Price point wise, because the 30, let's just round it, is like 18.
Yeah.
Then the F2 is 28. Yeah. And then the F3 is 38. Yeah, so they're each like $1,000 apart. And I saw, when this came out, a lot of people were in the comments like, oh, I'm switching to Lumix and all this stuff. Because, Lumix just came out with the S1R2.
And the S12 as well, and the S12E.
6K. 6K.
Exactly.
Why can't we get a little bit of 6K, Sony?
Thank you for mentioning
just a little bit, you know? Stingy with the thing.
Yeah, I think Sony is still trying to say 4K. I think they're just making it quite clear that you guys just don't need 6K.
I want the options.
And
I like excess, okay? I like having, you know, the capabilities to do certain things. But I get it. But at least, you know, the autofocus was already banging on Sony. Now it's like out the park. They just knocked it out the park with all these different tracking and zooming in tracking. That's pretty cool. So like, if you have that camera and your stuff is out of focus, you need to retire from camera in.
Something is wrong with you.
Yeah.
I think Memento was saying that Sony is the Apple of the whole camera. I mean,
weren't we saying that Sigma camera was in terms of style and
how it looks though?
Yeah, I think from a marketing standpoint, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. It has that prestige to it. But 100%. I'm curious, you know, because we have access to the Canon R5C, which is amazing for photography. I've shared it in a video. It's better than all the Sony photography I've done. Yes.
If I feel like the A7 IV. You guys tell me, I've never used it before. I used the A7R5 before.
Right.
I think the A7R5 is top of the line in photography. I think it's really good with its color science and how vibrant the colors are. Not the greatest in comparison to R5C, but it competes with it in a sense, right? But I don't think the A7 IV is there. I don't know why, but when we see, when we get our hands on it, we can really like test it out.
And that is interesting because if the 5 is out, why would you go choose the 4? Now I'm a little mad, but you know, there's a market for it. I'm just curious, how would you say the Canon R5C versus your Luna?
Lumix.
What's the Lumix that you have?
The S5 2X.
Which one would you say is better?
R5C. I said R5C.
Okay, interesting.
It's because the R5C records raw. In photography?
Yeah, for photography.
So the Lumix, I'm realizing that color science wise, bless you.
Thank you.
Color science wise, the Lumix does a really great job in giving you true to life colors.
Okay.
I think Canon is known for its straight out of body look.
Right.
But I think Lumix and Fujifilm is right. It's really up there. But I'd say Lumix.
Okay, interesting.
I'd say Lumix based on its vibrancy. Like it's really vibrant.
Okay, yeah. I'm really curious to see where the FX2 will land in that photography conversation.
It should be interesting.
We'll see. I did pre-order it.
Woo!
Whether or not I'm gonna keep it is a whole different story, but we shall see. So real quick, if we had to decide, based on what we talked about and knowing my workflow, the type of shoots that I do or that we do, what are your thoughts on that being part of the lineup and how that adds or changes things?
I think so. For Christine is in and out shoots quite. You guys would see. You guys are on our channel for sure. I think it's a very, 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 very good camera for her to have in her arsenal. I think it's a good camera to have on sticks. It's a good camera to have. I think it's a good camera to even do documentary with.
Yeah, so some of the handheld stabilization that it has too.
Yeah, and then especially since it says it has unlimited recording, like the fan system is.
People don't got unlimited budgets though. So I'm not gonna be shooting people for unlimited. My unlimited rate is gonna be like $400 an hour, and it's gonna go up from each hour.
Listen,
after 10.
I think it's perfect for what you do for sure.
Yeah.
I think the dynamic range is the same. It's nothing too crazy. I think it's still 14 stops or 15 stops. Nothing too much usable stops. I'd say it's 12, and that's a great amount. And this is me saying it based on watching Gerald. I don't know if you guys know who that is. You guys know it's facts. But yeah, I think it's a great camera to have in your stuff for sure.
Yeah, I think it will add a nice mix, especially surprisingly, we've been doing a lot of 3-camera and up shoots. So I'm just like, man, if I'm gonna need a 4th camera, it would be a great 4th camera to have.
Yep.
I just need to see what the demand is for that. But if it can pay for itself, you know, I'll keep anything that pays for itself. And my cameras have already paid for themselves time over. So that is, you know, that's something I'm taking into consideration. But I am excited about the camera itself. I think I like new cameras in general. I don't know who doesn't.
She's excited because it's Sony.
Yes. And I know there's a lot of hate and talk about missing this and missing that. Let's just clear the slate, for example. It's a new camera, new piece of technology. I have to go through this red light because the ambulance is behind me, so hopefully I don't get a ticket later. But I am excited to, you know, see this combination of specs in this camera and to see, is the viewfinder something that grows on me that, hey, yo, I might really like this, or I might start doing more photography more. Or might give me a reason to shoot with the C-ray lenses. I know Chef might don't want me doing photography with that, but I'm like, listen, the viewfinder right there, and we want to test out the LUTs, you know?
Oh, yeah.
So I am going to be picking it up. I did pre-order it, and we'll see if I keep it. But let me know. I would love to hear y'all thoughts. Do you think that this is something that I should get in general? Is this something that you would get? Would love to hear your thoughts on the pros and cons. And yeah, I'm just curious to see, you know, what it's like once it's in my hands and how I feel about it. So but I'm excited overall. So
I'm excited to kind of feel it and kind of be around it and see what it does for sure.
Yeah. So we've been able to play with a lot of Sony cameras, so this will be a nice one to see how it compares. You know, because the A7 IV, that was 8K. So it's just no, and the Sony one too.
The A7 IV?
No, the A7 V. We had the 5 for a bit.
R5.
No, we also had the Sony 5. Well, we shot we had the 5. It was Sony 8K, bro.
The Sony A7 R5.
No, yeah. I'm leaving out some letters, but I'm like, we had an 8K Sony.
Yeah.
And we're just like, the photography versus the Canon wasn't there, but it was an 8K shooter. So now it's like, okay, man, if I return that, why would I, you know, there has to be a strong reason for me to want to keep this one. I mean, otherwise that's still, you know, an 8K option. So.
For sure.
But yeah, let me know what you guys feel. I'm definitely curious and just open to hearing different thoughts and perspectives and taking that into consideration. But yeah, thank you for rocking with me. I am the Chef Girl.
Big up on yourself.
Yes, and this is Ramon Phoenix. And, him to want to introduce himself. You know, he's like, the people know me.
I know he was.
All right, thank you for rocking with us. I am the Chef Girl, and you just got the recipe.